Hi there, this is Jed Schlackman, and in this video I'll be speaking about the topic of our perception and how our beliefs, our access to information, or prior knowledge or viewpoints can influence how we perceive things, the interpretation, the meaning that we give to whatever we're observing through our senses, or whatever is being placed in our reality, in our field of vision or perception. So to give a little bit of a demonstration of this, I'll be doing a little exercise here. You could refer to this as a form of magic trick. So to start out, I've got this little box of cards here. So it's a little plastic box. And inside of the box, there's a deck of playing cards. So I'm going to open the box now. And let's take out the cards. So here's our deck of cards. They're just regular playing cards. And it's a full deck. So you can see, got all these cards. It's a full 52 card deck. And you see all the different cards, different numbers, suits, so on. So it's just a full deck. Cards are all kind of randomly shuffled in there. I could shuffle it some more. So now that we've established we have this deck of cards, which came here with this case, I'm going to put them back in the case. So they're closed up there in the case. And we're going to just say a phrase. How about seeing is believing? That's our magic phrase for the moment. And now we're going to open up our case and we'll find that we've made this deck of cards disappear. So we just put them in, they're gone now. And since we might want to do some other kind of trick or exercise with the cards, we'll make them reappear. So this time we'll say, believing is seeing. Now we're going to open it up again, and voila, we have our card deck again. So let's take out the cards. And now that we have our cards available to us, we can have a little more fun with them. And for the next exercise, we're going to use a magic eye. So here's our magic eye. Could be our third eye, our all-seeing eye, whatever we want to label this. And we're going to say, for the sake of this particular exercise, that this eye gives X-ray vision. So with that X-ray vision, we can see through the deck of cards, through the back of the card, to see what is on the other side of the card without turning it over. So let's quickly shuffle these. Okay, so now we have our deck of cards, and we're going to use our magic radar vision to look through the card and tell what is on the other side. So let's look at the first one. And we're going to use this eye. It's becoming clear now. I believe this card is a 4 of clubs. So let's see if that's right. And there we go. It's a 4 of clubs. So let's put this card to the side. And let's check out the next one. Wow. This is a kind of special card. Well, it's a famous card. You've probably heard this particular one mentioned in stories. This one is, I believe, the Ace of Spades. And there we go. Ace of Spades. Powerful card there. Let's do one more using our Magic Eye radar vision. Wow. Looks like we've got another spades. But this one is the 10 of spades. So let's check out that. And there's our 10 of spades. So we just did a little trick, you could call it, a magic exercise using these cards. Now, depending on who is observing this, they might have a different idea or belief about what they observed. So if we had, let's say, a young child, perhaps a little toddler or kindergartner, they don't have the knowledge or belief systems, perhaps, that older people would have to interpret what just occurred. So they wouldn't understand how magic tricks are done or performed. They would literally believe in what they saw on a surface level. So that child might think that I used some magic power to make the card deck disappear. And I also have that special magic power of the eye to look through the card and see through it to the other side to know what was on the card. That might be the belief of that child. And of course, a magician or illusionist, they would do things to encourage that belief. That's part of their act. Now, someone who's older, who has more knowledge and understanding, would start to think that there's some type of trick or deception involved. Things are not what they really, or what they appeared to be. They're really something else. So the reality, to understand it, requires having some additional knowledge beyond what you've been shown at the surface level. So in that case, a person might think that there's something out of the ordinary about the deck of cards, some other method by which the magician was able to identify what was on the other side of the card. They might assume that there's some trick, something out of the ordinary about that particular case, the box that the cards were held in, that would make it appear as though they had disappeared, even though in some sense they hadn't. It was all just an illusion, a trick, some type of sleight of hand, some type of misdirection. So that person would interpret things based on their level of understanding. So the more knowledge or information we have, the more power we have to accurately interpret things that we experience and perceive in our personal reality. This applies not just to this little fun magic exercise, but really to everything in our life. So we interpret people's words and actions based upon our past experience, our existing knowledge, our belief systems. So it's helpful to realize that we may have some limitations, some limit to our knowledge or our understanding, since our access to information always has some limitations, and our own range of personal experience also is quite limited. There may be things that we're not aware of, that we don't know about, things that are being kept hidden from us, perhaps intentionally. So there are many different factors that may interfere with our ability to perceive and interpret things accurately. This is something that we can consider more as we go through our life, to have that humility or that self-awareness to realize that we do have limitations to what we know and what we're able to understand about things. So sometimes we may have an interpretation of something that may turn out to be inaccurate when we later on gain access to additional knowledge or information. I hope that this explanation has given you some things to think about. For those that are still curious and wondering about how this particular magic illusion was carried out, well, you'll have to do your own research. The code of the magician is to not reveal the method by which they performed their trick, but I'm sure that many of you have some ideas, some knowledge of this topic that could give you some insight into how this type of illusion could be created. For now, I'd like to thank each of you for taking your time to view this video, for exploring the topic of spirituality, of personal growth and development, of expanding your consciousness. For now, I would like to wish each of you a wonderful day. Namaste.